This place has really been designed around us. It's about having a space that works for you.
Before we even designed this apartment, we had to think about what do we actually need. Everything has a place, down to where the teapot might have its place. So this is a compact apartment, 25 square meters.
This is our living room, our dining room, our hosting space. It's all in one, and so we've had to...
Where we sleep as well.
Yeah, correct, over there.
Sydney's property market has really caused us to think creatively in terms of where we live and how we live.
We have tried to fit out this place so that the storage suits the things that we have, not more, not less.
And that's just being mindful and really questioning, do we really need this and how does it really add value to our life?
Part of using this space well has been incorporating a lot of storage. We've got lots of little nooks and crannies where we can tuck things away. This table can be packed away above the oven. We can reconfigure the space depending on what we're doing and depending on our needs. This screen door here can open out so that you can watch TV while sitting on the couch, or it can close and watch TV from bed. After we wash the dishes, we put them away above the sink. That's a good use of space. We don't have any door handles in the apartment, and it sounds like such a simple thing, but it just means you can move around a lot more freely. To be honest, one of the biggest benefits of living here is how easy this place is to clean. I'd say it takes half an hour to clean the whole place. I mean, it sounds silly, but we really appreciate that because we don't want to spend all our time and energy thinking about maintaining, and having a small, decluttered, very simple place means we can spend time and energy doing other things. Living in a tiny apartment does mean that we don't have our own backyard.
We have an abundance of parks around the area. That's been a big part of why we chose this place. One of the sustainable aspects about living in a compact apartment is that you have a smaller footprint. We're only taking up 12, 13 square meters each, I guess. We need to be conscious about how we live and the way we live in a space, and definitely push for sustainability when we can. As cities grow and land becomes more scarce, compact living is one of the ways you can live in an efficient way. It's not feasible to continuously build new structures. We should rethink the whole process, be considering how we can adapt existing buildings to suit our needs.
Imogen is taking a well-deserved break and will return about mid-July. So while we prepare some new shows for you, please enjoy one of our earlier digital marketing shows supported by realestate.com.au. Hello and welcome to our next digital marketing show presented by realestate.com.au. Joining me once again, Imogen Callister, branding specialist with realestate.com.au. G'day, Imogen.
Good morning, how are you?
Great. And hey, in a recent show, you made the comment that not all bad reviews are bad. And I said then we need to pick up on this.
That is so true. I did definitely make that comment, and it causes a little bit of controversy when I say it, but it is so true. We do get so obsessed when it comes to a bad review. And I certainly know when somebody says something bad about you, it really hurts. But I want to take you back a moment here. We as businesses, as people, anything have always been reviewed. How we've been reviewed is through word of mouth and people often saying things behind our back or slamming us. Now we're reviewed through word of mouth. And word of mouth still, but word of mouth being that people can post online reviews. And we know that 55% of all customers demand in Australia to read a review before they look at a product or a service. And the truth is I think a review that is bad is far better you knowing that it's a bad review and somebody saying bad things about there, because it gives you control. But that's not essentially why it's the only best thing about getting a bad review. There's no great thing about a bad review, but I want to have a think about this now. Let's have a think. When is the last time you purchased a product or a service? Maybe you went overseas. Maybe you went to a restaurant. And what did you do? You Googled it, and then you went online and you went, okay, I'm going to have a look at what? The reviews. Then you took at all those reviews online and you went, okay, what am I going to do? Where do I want to go? So what did you do? You became socially conditioned to do two things. You looked for the great review because you wanted to know your best experience. But then you looked for a bad review, didn't you? because you want to know your worst experience. And we as human nature are socially conditioned to do that. So a bad review is not necessarily a bad thing, but the way in which you respond to it to make it world class and better your brand.
Okay, walk me through that. What are the steps then? How do we handle a bad review?
Well, so now that we know that authenticity is building in those fake reviews, the thing that we have to do is put in a process to make sure that we've responded to it in the best way possible. And the first tip is drop your ego. Now it hurts and it's really hard. And, you know, I have read reviews where agents have received things like, you drive around in your Maserati destroying financial dreams. And their response was, you beephead. It's just, you can't do that. It takes me one moment to screenshot that and I can literally destroy your brand forever. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how sassy the customer, no matter how disruptive they are or rude, you have to drop your ego in that moment and get rid of it. Number two is you have to be responsive. One of the biggest things that we don't do is we kind of panic and the review ends up just sitting on our digital footprint for other people to read unresponded to. But have a think. Get back to that customer as soon as possible. When was the last time you were pissed off? You know, were you pissed off at a product or a service or maybe a restaurant? You're pissed off. Now imagine if instead of fuffling around and ignoring the issue, they went, this is really, you know, like, they got onto it. We know that that response rate eases that customer concerns and they feel important. And if you can feel like someone gets back to you quickly and shows that the issue is real, it does certainly help.
So what do you say to them in that moment, Imogen? Do you come back and say, look, thank you, feedback to me is very important, both positive and negative?
So that is actually exactly my third tip. So you have to respond and show that you care. Once you've got that responsiveness, one of the best things that I see is across all small businesses or any agent's brand is thanks for your feedback. Well, you're not really thankful for that feedback, are you? You're not like, oh, that was fantastic. Thanks for telling me you're not going to be like that. You're going to be really upset with that happening, but responding and actually show you care. So this is really important to us and we'll be in contact with you as soon as possible, or we will be in touch as soon as possible. This is also your chance to call out a fake review here. So you can say here right now, hang on a minute, I have no idea who that is. Be responsive, get into your database, figure out if you've ever communicated with that person and show it. Look, we have searched our entire database. I'm really sorry we cannot find any contact details of you. We may believe this could be a fake review. Could you please contact us immediately on this number to resolve the problem? Call that out for what it is, and that's so important that you do that there. And lastly, I think, you know, the final tip that I want to offer you is just assess the issue. You know, I think a lot of the times we get so caught in this world where we get so upset because something went wrong. And stuff goes wrong all the time. No, you know, you're human first, your agent second. But understanding that things do go wrong is crucial in that process. And you just have to assess the issue, because a world-class business assesses the issue and says, this is what we need to do moving forward to make sure that we never let that customer down again. It ensures a process or a system is put in place so that customer never experiences that lack of service.
Going back to the first point you made, which I believe is the foundation to it all, and that is drop your ego. If you do that, you're then able to look at it from their perspective, and I think that's pretty important, isn't it? Understanding how to deal with this. If you can put yourself in their shoes, and you'll never be able to do that if you've got your ego on.
Absolutely. And look, I also know I've worked with many agents out there that will say to me, Imi, there was absolutely nothing I could have done to impress this person. And you have to recognize that in the business. You know, you're working with people. But if there's any ego serving over that and you're trying to prove you're right over them, you're just stooping to that level, right? You know, it's immediately letting go of all that ego. No, maybe knowing that they're a difficult person, but that you're not going to let that impact you, that you're going to do your best to resolve the problem. Because the last thing that you want is off them speaking about that. And finally, on that note, on an agent that had 3 really bad reviews, and I helped him build a brand and actually correct a bad review. It was really funny. He called me 2 weeks later and he said, that woman that we changed, that we converted, that we went above and beyond and changed the customer service, she's just given me 3 leads. and she's out there raving about me. And it is true, you know, if you are upset and you're pissed off and someone actually goes above and beyond and makes sure that you correct that, they're going to be out there doing what? Not only online changing their review, but offline as well, telling everyone how great you are.
Yeah, because let's face it, the reason someone will complain is because they're unhappy with your service and they want it fixed. If you fix it for them, you're going to turn them around. It's that simple.
You know, it's like in a restaurant, if your meal's cold, well, just, you know, go and make sure that you ensure that the hot meal comes out. Apologise. You know, we are at a peak period. We've strongly recognised this. Your next meal on us is for free. You know, there's all these different things that we have to do, but we do live in a world where technology is changing interactions with humans so much, and that personalisation and that customer service must always be at the forefront.
Always great talking to you, Imogen Callister. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Well, one of my objectives for this year as a business was to travel for 50% of the year and to increase my profits by 50%. The first thing I do when I get anywhere, doesn't matter if I'm there for one night, I will unpack. I'll get everything out of my bag, pop in the drawers and make me feel like that's my room and feels like home that way. The best thing about being a digital nomad is being able to prioritise life over work and really living it to its absolute max. My average work would be around 4 to 5 hours a day. Has definitely made me more efficient, can fit into a day what I would fit into a week in an office. There's no interruptions of people coming to your desk, phone calls. So my top tips for travel would definitely be to travel light and don't take a carry-on suitcase, take a really lightweight bag. Secondly would be to try and stay in routine, whether that's having the same breakfast, working in exercise. It'll keep you from getting exhausted. The best way to keep in touch with my friends and family when I'm away is definitely through social media. I think the way the world's moving in terms of business, everyone's really mobile, and I think work-life balance is something that people really value. My main learnings is that I should have done it earlier. I thought it was going to be really hard to do. I think with technology that's around and the openness of people to do business and communicate in those ways, it's actually not that hard. You've just got to give it a go and stop talking about doing it and just do it.